It's 10 o'clock on Spreaker.com. Do you know where your children are? Do you know where they are? They're inside the house. Maybe. I don't know. They're in my balls, because I don't have kids. Fuck that. For now. What? No. No! Sidetracked. I am Billy at the _Swan_man on Twitter. Repping for the Army of Snarkness on Twitter as well at Army of Snarkness. Download the podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. All that good shit. You already know it. If you don't, read the fucking description, man. Don't be so lazy. This is Night Drive, because it says it in the goddamn title. I'm on my way home. 10 o'clock at night, where I am right now. A moment in time, because it'll be downloadable in about 30 minutes. So, you're listening to the past, probably. This is the past, because it's not streaming. Not yet. Tuesday. New DVDs, don't know what they are. But it's Tuesday, and that's when new media usually comes out, you know. DVDs, music, books. Everything except action figures and comics. Things I care about. New video games. I think Crisis 3 came out today. But, you know, I don't fucking care. Ain't no, you know, sorry. And that's the end of that, motherfucker. We are the podcast of the day today. Or at least a bot called Podcast of the Day liked us on Twitter. Good enough for me. When I uploaded the last night's Night Drive, because of fucking difficulties, it wouldn't upload last night. So, shit. I had to upload it in the middle of the goddamn day. I was going to give a little extra content on top of that, but you'll get it. You'll get it one day. You'll get it eventually. Don't be such a bitch. But woo! New listens. New listeners, at least, worldwide, touching you. Don't be afraid to subscribe, honey. It feels so good. So good. Nom nom. Vivid Video. The offices of Vivid Video. The offices of Vivid Video, the ones that, you know, I guess hold all the records and shit at the beginning of the tapes, or scenes, movies. Does anybody even do that anymore? What's Vivid Video? Jesus Christ! Can't say Vivid Video today. But that was my topic, and I don't know. What are we gonna do? I don't know. I'm nervous driving. The offices of Vivid Video. If you don't know what Vivid Video is, you're born probably in the mid to late 90s. Because, you know, Brazzers and Naughty America and all that shit happened. Fucking internet ruined over-the-counter fucking porno sales. But Vivid Video was the nice ones, the clean ones. The reliable porno film producer from the early 90s when they really started to become a thing until about the, you know, early 2000s, because, let's be honest, nobody really buys porn in the Audis. Nobody does. It's expensive. It's a niche market. They have the market cornered. So if you really have a hankering and have to buy a DVD, because they didn't really convert to Blu-ray, they backed the HD horse, then you would buy a Vivid film more often than not. Like one of the big three. There's Vivid, there's Wicked, and there's a Digital Playground. Those are the ones people give a shit about. Now, if it's just streaming, it's a whole nother ball of wax, because, you know, there's Brazzers and the whole network, because it's just a monster. And who knows who really owns those corporations? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean? Paramount. Where the fuck is my thing? Did I leave all that? No. Okay. Just doing a little check in my car. But, yeah, it's going to be a porno-intensive episode tonight, which is feeling all right. That's cool. I love pornography. Not because I'm, you know, I used to be very lonely. Very lonely boy. Yeah, it's hard being a nerdlinger out there, because bitches don't like it. They just don't. At least not at that age. You know, they're scared or whatever nonsense excuse that I have to hear about in future episodes of whatever animated show wants to tell me it's all right. I don't give a shit! Lies! No one, you know. It's a different world, though, so who knows? You know, that's a great show, too. But it's a different world now, so who knows? Maybe digging comics, wrestling, all that shit is like the bee's knees in, you know, middle school and high school these days. I doubt it, but nothing ends, Adria, nothing ever ends. But why Vivid Video? Vivid Video's office, one of the big three porn, over-the-counter porn, you know, distributors, caught on fire 2 days ago. So, yeah, whatever. Sunday? Yeah. As the crow flies. Caught on fire, and everyone's worried because they released, their big thing, too, was that after, you know, 2000s happened, and streaming internet porn is really the only the only medium there is, really. I don't know anybody that... Well, no one talks about that stuff. When you talk about your fucking porn buying habits, oh yeah, hey Tom. But... And as I said, Blu-rays don't really... Porno Blu-rays are usually, that's a hustler thing, because I don't know if it's just too cost-intensive, or people understand that streaming is just easier. I don't really know how that shit works. Because, there's not as many Blu-ray porno Blu-rays, I guess. There's not as many porno Blu-ray discs as, say, they backed the HD horse. Because I remember HD DVD, Stormy Daniels had a whole contract with them, and we love Stormy Daniels. So, there's not as many Blu-rays, so I'm going to just say DVD, even though I'm a Blu-ray fucking snob now, thanks to my wife. Bert, caught on fire, and they were, Vivid was last, at least when I heard the story, like, oh, the Kim Kardashian tape. They buy the niche stuff more than make, proper films anymore. I mean, they still do parodies. I think they actually made the Clerks parody, Clerks XXX, so I gotta look at that. Not through Vivid, but I'm gonna look at that. But, what? Yes. But everybody on the internet was like, oh, because they bought yeah, it's true, they bought the Kim Kardashian sex tape, which I didn't watch because sex tapes. They might have bought the Paris Hilton. They might have done all the celebrity sex tapes, from Tom Sizemore to China, which, everybody wants to watch all those. I've seen horrible things. You should know this already. Anyway. But they're like, oh, Kim Kardashian, which is apparently boring as shit, because no shit. She's talentless even in the sack. Not a surprise to me. Not one bit. Caught fire! The fucking roof was on fire. The roof is on fire. And fortunately, it didn't spread to actually any of the floors, so the archives are safe for Vivid. It was going to be more of a story when I read up on it, though it wasn't much of more of a story. It was just like, oh, they've caught fire. No one knows how, or I didn't give a shit to read how, or what. Somewhere, somehow, a flame caught, whatever. Licked the building. I don't know what that was. I don't do the Yakov Smirnoff laugh as well as others. Get him up here. Call him from Branson. Get him up. Do a little gig, a little podcast with us. Whoop whoop! But Vivid Video was the horse I backed, to phrase it oddly, in a bestiality way, because they signed Christy Canyon in her last few years in the job. Now, from her book and her account, they sounded like, and from other things that I actually saw years ago, because there was a show on MTV called True Life, and it was a little mini documentary they would air. And I got hooked on that from True Life, I Want to Be a Pro Wrestler, and learned a lot, actually, about the biz-naz. And there were others, obviously, to follow. It was the late 90s. It was a grungy, dirty time. And one of the things was True Life, I Want to Be a Porn Star. And it covered, they always have the one on the outs, the hot one at the time, and then someone trying to break in. That's usually how it went. And, peppered with stories from others that are in various, somewhere in between all three of those categories. So, and that's where I learned, back then, like I said, they were still the top dogs at that time. Wicked hadn't really come about yet, at least properly. They were the top dogs, and they were the established ones. And a big reason for that, for the mainstream popularity of Vivid Video, was Jenna Jameson. She was exclusive to Vivid Video. Club Jenna and all that was all Vivid Video. And, overrated, by the way. But they introduced her, and then, like gangbusters, bang, zip. It took over the world in a porny sort of way. But, I was into them because they were the last bastion for Christy Canyon, and she was, in her book, she, elaborates that they were the ones willing to deal with her bizarre schedule because they, they did it businesslike and they did it smart. They accrued a bunch of scenes knowing she was a marquee name for the time, and what they did was, they'd film all this stuff. It took, about a year's worth of filming, but instead of just releasing it as it happened, like we do so often now, because again, streaming, Lisa Ann is just all over the goddamn place. Jesus. But they held on to it instead, because again, this is still, the videotape market is still a big deal. Internet hasn't completely fucked it all up yet, which now it has, but hasn't completely fucked it all up. So there was still, it was like, movies could be a surprise back then. Late 90s? Oh yeah, more, it's a little harder now, but, we still don't know shit about Star Trek, but I'm just saying, to put it in that kind of scope, yeah. So instead, what they did was, she was gone by the time most of her catalog with Vivid came out. including, I guess, the Where the Boys Aren't series, which went up until, she was in there until, like, 12, which was all les, all the time, fun for most. I always had a hard time watching, you know, nothing but girl on girl just because I didn't know who won. But that's a joke no one ever gets. I don't know why. See, because the cum shot doesn't really happen, unless it's like Squirts Illustrated, and then, yeah, no. Porno intensive! Graphic. But Vivid Video was where, you know, the home for the classics. That's where Nina Hartley ended up. Everybody ended up from the late 80s, where it was kind of like a cowboy thing, like Boogie Nights. You know, once they went to VHS, videotape, because it's cheaper, Vivid had the idea to just gather up the marquee stars and then utilize them in a smart, pragmatic way, instead of just churning it out and blowing your load, so to speak, easily, and all at once. They milked it out. Oh, Jesus Christ. They milked it out and made the market, you know, demand. So you get a Christy Canyon film, even though they shot them all within about a year, 6 months. They were already in the can and everything. Jeez, porno jokes. It's all double entendres. They're just dicks everywhere, in holes, gaping mucosal glands. Anyway, they would, you know, one tape with Christy Canyon, as an example, or Jenna Jameson, one tape every 3 months, 4 months, even 6 months, to create demand. If no one misses you if you don't go anywhere. See? Lisa Ann could drop off the face of the earth. I wouldn't notice for another fucking year. That bitch is everywhere. And around here, in, you know, Lexington, she hits the clubs all the time. At least once a year I get to hear about her silly ass. Her boobs are starting to age weird, by the way. Nipples are just scared and starting to hide under her massively augmented jugs. Massive is a subjective term. To some, to most, her jugs are massive. To me, I'm like, they're just fake. But her nipples are starting to hide because, you know, older. Which is fine by me, but yay, Selena Steele. Internet's a fucked up place for fucked up people, as in everyone. But Vivid Video, that was the thing. They bought all the stars. Like WCW, they bought all the stars. You could contract elsewhere. But they were into lock solid, you know, contracts with a friendly atmosphere and all that. So like WCW and Eric Bischoff in the heyday, they bought all the old favorites and some of the new ones. And they just utilized them to their best, although WCW fucked that up. But then again, so did Vivid, because then Wicked was an offshoot. Porno history. And that was all very cool. But, you know, the internet streaming thing became a thing, and grand, large-scale, high-end production values to pornography kicked Jenna Jameson's aging ass out, / Tito Ortiz beat her in the face a lot when they got married. She became one with Jesus, and then fucked up her career like porno is bad, and she wrote that dumb blog, Make Love Like a Porn Star, No One Cares, and so on and so forth. And while all that shit was going on, as the mainstream porn, remember, she was in a Family Guy episode, fucking Sam Jackson. And Jenna Jameson was the voice of Candy Sucks in Grand Theft Auto Vice City in 2003. Towards the end, the waning of her popularity, Digital Playground came out with Loaded, an actual film where once, and, you know, Gonzo had taken over, which is where it's just straight fucking in a location, or POV fucking in a location that takes for fucking ever, by the way. The same goddamn positions. Like, that's 20 minutes in the butt. Holy shit, man. I got shit to do today. I can't watch 90-minute scenes. I can't watch 45 minutes. Jesus. I got other things to do today. But Loaded framed that, and in the more traditional sense, they brought the porno film back. Filmed on film, digital film this time, because as, you know, time goes on, what is old is new again. It's cyclical. Blah. Pornography is no different. Because, it was Ben Kingsley style. Pornography is no different because, you know, as film and effects become cheaper and easier to obtain, VHS blows. That's why you watch all the best of tapes from, you know, or DVDs, Blu-rays, transfers. They're all from VHS onto a disc. That resolution isn't so great, especially on HDTV. I know. Don't ask me how, because you don't want to know how I know. You can just, you know, can see the tracking marks, and it gets fuzzy. The bigger it gets, the fuzzier it gets, too. You'd think, you know, the image would clear up a little. Now it's just like, whatever. So HDTV is the death knell for that. Aha! God knows what happens in 1080 guaranteed TVs, or whatever the fuck their true HD nonsense is coming down the pike. It's just going to fuck it all up. But there will be no shortage, because, again, internet. But Loaded came out, and that was a full-length film with acting, sort of, and, you know, all these dudes that were burned by Hollywood, and they're like, fuck it, we're making a movie. And fucking. And that's where you get Jesse Jane, who rocked the fucking landscape. Similar to Jenna Jameson, but faster. Harder! Like, more streamlined. And Digital Playground was born and became popular from that, where you'd get, you know, an actual sort of watchable movie. D-grade movie, but, you know, better than Skinamax. I mean, there's hardcore fucking. And then that happened, and the DVDs became a thing again, and storyline and all that. So like the old films, the sex scenes weren't like 40 minutes, like the Gonzo era, but they were more like a reasonable 10 to 15 minutes all day, because it had to fit in the story, and they had to keep the story moving and all that. And that's more, you know, that... my values. I'm like Jack Horner in Boogie Nights, Burt Reynolds' character. I want the story. It's so good, you know. I want the implausible to be plausible with my pornography, thank you. Like, you can't just fuck the plumber. That's dumb. You gotta at least want the plumber first, or have, like, a relationship with the plumber, because your husband beats you. And plumber's there, and it's like, oh, see, I added layers. Right there, boom. Like a 7-layer salad of pornography. There's beans, there's corn, visible if it's anal. Shit like that. With corn in it. Porno salad joke. So this was all about pornography. Son of a bitch, I'd go at length. But, you know, you get a brief history, and then, you know, Digital Playground and Naughty America. No one does it better. And Brazzers, they took over where it's just streaming on demand. Like Netflix, but with pornography. And it's cheaper because, you know, you don't have to print up the DVD covers or cases, and you don't have to have any of that. Fuck it. There's no distribution line. You just take it from, you know, computer to computer in a network. Boom. Beam it right into my eyeballs through my smartphone and just be like, porno all day, every day. That's where I get the phrase, you know, porno comes to me now. But, God damn it. It's impossible to podcast about pornography without everything being double-ended dildo dicks. Jokes. Everything's a double entendre. It's a pain in my ass. Dicks! How do I gracefully bow out? I don't know. I don't know that there's any way. I think we jumped that shark years ago. But yes, it is all 1080p and streaming, and now porno's just the internet. Everything's going to be streaming, you know, to bring to porno to regular media. Everything's just going to be this way. Netflix, you know, digging House of Cards on Netflix, which is original for Netflix, sort of remake, but awesome. Nonetheless. So, this is the future, where everything's just beamed into my eyeballs, and I can just have it all the time. It's going to be really interesting to see what wildly irresponsible people do in 10 years. Like, where will the line shift? I'm curious. So, woo! People just, you know, watching porn while making eye contact because it's beamed into their brain. Never mind the inappropriate erections, they'll go away soon enough with, you know, automatic self-jerking off pants. Ejacu-Slacks! Boom! That's a money. If I start now, they'll be ready for when they're necessary. They plug into your, you know, neural synapse, porno download, and then it jerks you off while you're just, you know, conducting business, because ain't nobody got time for that. Ejacu-Slacks. Self-cleaning, yeah, they need to be water resistant. I'm going to work on that. So, this has been another successful podcast. I am Billy at _Swan_man, repping for the Army of Snarkness podcast. Download on iTunes, Spreaker.com, and Stitcher. Follow Army of Snarkness on Twitter at Army of Snarkness. Like the Facebook page. Everything's in the goddamn description. And this has been Night Drive. Hope you liked it. Peace.